Ta-da! Here we are. We're back. Oh my gosh. It was kind of a busy, quick, sudden turnaround upside down about a few minutes ago. And I'm a little bit discombobulated. So what I'm going to do, before I try and sound like I know what I'm doing, small sip. Okay. And there we go. All right, here's what just happened. What just happened was I didn't actually put any coffee in the coffee maker. And while I'm perfectly capable, I have no issues about caffeine one way or the other. It's the warm beverage on the throat when I'm talking. So it's a bit of a thing. Anyway, we're all good. It all worked out. I didn't have a moment in the kitchen where the microwave and the toaster and the coffee maker were talking about me. So here we are, and here's what we're doing. And that's kind of weird that it's a different color. How odd. Would somebody please tell me that, oh no, it looks like it's all right. Okay. All right. It says Restream. It says Twitch. It says, okay. So I'm having a small tech uncertainty moment. Oh, there we go. Maggie, good morning. Good morning. All right. You have just restored my faith in in my tech capabilities because I couldn't see the Facebook thing. Good morning. Right then. My name is Abby Haggard. Once upon a time, a long time ago in a far-off land, I played a mom on television. I also played several Care Bears and an assortment of other animated creatures, and I did a whole bunch of very quiet, behind-the-scenes coaching. And the coaching was for people who wanted to get into show business before they realized what it was like to be in show business. It was also for corporate people. It was for people at crossroads. And then eventually, when I discovered that people needed some mentoring help with their writing, I opened a small boutique publishing entity called Publisher. And it wasn't so much that I was a publisher, although that's part of it. Mostly it was the hand holding and the passing of boxes of Kleenex and the I know they're there patting on the back to get people through the process of getting something important out of here through here onto a page, and therefore it's over there and we can look at it, other people can look at it, and we can kind of work through some closure. And then oddly enough, when the pandemic hit, I realized that all of these things, all of the mom, Care Bear, unconditional hugging and listening and navigating and storytelling actually was needed more than ever. And then a kind of a cloudburst of artificial tools, and the personal touch, the human touch, is now in short supply. So I created something called Pivotry in motion. A pivot is a hard turn. It's taken to an art form when what we're shifting is the way we see the world, how we use our filters, how we decide that the story, the blueprint doesn't work, that those pants we bought don't fit. And it's not what's wrong with us, it's the pants. And we're ready to say, let's try something different. The struggle we all have is that all of our survivor instincts are not happy with change. Change is something unknown. We want to go with the known because so far, knock wood, it's been working. And so this has been a big crossroads in kind of a wham, wham, wham set of stages. And we have barely recovered from one, and the next one has come along. So what I'm discovering, wonderfully, is that while I am tech challenged, as Maggie can attest this morning, as everyone can attest this morning, that is not as serious a setback when what is really needed is the human touch. And I posted something yesterday on Facebook, and it was a picture of a room through which you could see a very cloudy, stormy day. And what I said was, sometimes it's raining on the inside. And and when that's happening, your inner child is getting all wet. And so what we often need is somebody who gets it. And I had reached out then, and I had said, and believe me, not only do I get it, but my inner child has an umbrella, and it's very wide, and you're very welcome. And Maggie and I were exchanging thoughts about that, because sometimes out of nowhere it's just a tough day. Sometimes everything is doable, is manageable, is, it's an 8 out of 10, maybe a 7, and we're on it. And then suddenly, out of the clear blue of the western sky, something, and suddenly we rocket down from our 7 or 8 to our 3, and we're really discombobulated, and it doesn't feel doable to talk about it. It's too much work. We just want somebody to nod and do this, and give us that chance to feel 3 years old again, and this time safe. We might have felt safe the last time, and again, maybe not. So this is our community that we're building, our Pivotry community. And my partner, my producer partner, Gary, and I had a series of remarkably impossible challenges as we were working into how we're making this happen, how the paths we're taking, the platforms we're using. And we just had all kinds of setbacks. And one of them, tragically, was a loss of a furry loved one. And it completely blindsided us and everybody around us. And it was a Milo moment, I'll tell you, to realize that your solidity, your stability, your stamina is so closely tied to a companion like that. And a Milo is an early blooming, blossoming seed. It's a very, very nutrient dense, and it's very weather hardy. And coincidentally, it's also the name of the loved one that we lost. And so we decided that this turning point moment in our mindset, in our recognition of it's not that bad, it's not that bad, slam, yes it is. That moment, that recognition that our life has, in this absolute second, changed. We're calling it the Milo moment for all the right reasons. So moving forward from last week, episode 400, twice a week, a total of 400 now. We're now at number 402. As we are leaning into our launch, which is coming up very soon, before Christmas, I can tell you that much, before Christmas this year. What I'm giving out now, starting today, really, because yesterday or Tuesday was a long one, and the 400 was a long one. I'm giving out shorter, more concise, clear invitations. I'm going to tell you a thing I know is true. I'm going to tell you a story that proves it. And then I'm going to explain the tools that I have proven because I use them. Okay? So it's always a three-step thing. What it's about, how I know, and this is how you do it. So today, one more sip, a little sore here. The conversation today is, why is it so hard for us to focus on our priorities, our stuff? Why is it so hard to keep our focus there? I mean, it's ours, right? It should be the thing. And the word that people are tossing around is procrastinate. We put it off. We aren't ready. We are reluctant dragons. You try and drag a cat through a doorway when it knows it needs a bath. Go ahead. I'll wait on the other side with liniment and Band-Aids for you. The cat's fine. So we are not ready to launch until one of two things happens. We have to, it's a go, no go, or we're inspired. Now, sometimes we're inspired by the go, no go. You open your eyes and the alarm didn't go off. That's an inspiration. More like a cattle prod. Inspiration is from within, cattle prods are externally driven. And no one seems to understand why we have become so scattered. And the answer, my friend, is glowing in the wind. The answer is the toys. The answer is the fascination with the shiny object. The answer is our exhaustion, our unwillingness to get up off the floor because those linoleum tiles are so cool on our migraine-filled foreheads. How then can we, if we're already exhausted, do one right thing? Just one. So I'm going to tell you how I know that procrastination is a thing. I always have a book like this beside my computer, beside my keyboard. And you probably can't see it very well because it's not really good resolution, but the pages are filled with random notes and squiggles and drawings and numbers and diagrams, lines and arrows on the back. And what that's for is for me to take my stream of whatnot out of my head as fast as it enters it. Good morning, Matthew. I haven't seen your wonderful, wonderful name and comment in a while. It's so good to see you. Good morning, Freddie. I'm so glad you're here. So what I'm talking about today, for those of you just joining us, and for those of you who aren't talking, I sense you there. Say hi, okay? Say hi. What I have learned in the time that I have been doing this mentoring and this coaching is that we pick up and try to manage, juggle, carry more than we can handle. We are going along to get along. We're doing our best to be part of. The thing is, we are being offered so many delicious, colorful, exciting options. We don't want to say no. We want to say yes. We want to, at the very least, bookmark them and save them and check them out. And that is where the difficulty starts. It's called an embarrassment of riches. And we cannot put them in order of, ooh, that looks delicious. So I'm going to tell you two quick stories, okay? The first one is that when you're very tired and you simply can't bring yourself to make a meal, and you say, just phone something, phone in something, and somebody says, I want to get you out of this. You haven't been out of here in a while. You need some air. Let's go to a nearby place. You love the food. We'll just go and you tell me and I'll order. And I just want to lie. I can't do it. Yes, you can. So pour you into the vehicle, get to the place, drag you into the place, sit down, run. There you are. Is it soup yet? No, very soon. We could have ordered it by now. Not really. Okay. The menu comes and you look at it and your partner, friend, healer, savior already knows what they're going to do and they call the waitress over. Meantime, you're looking at this swirl of madness printed on the page, bright colored pictures, and you stare at it like it's in Urdu. Like one of my amazing, brilliant, talented proteges was severely dyslexic. And he said, it's like going to Egypt on a holiday and looking at all the stuff they've carved on the wall. It doesn't make any sense. That's what everything has always looked like my whole life. And I'm not stupid, so I also got to enjoy people talking about me in front of me, thinking I was too dumb to process. So there you are, so overwhelmed, you can't process, you don't know. If somebody asks you, say, can I just have a grilled cheese sandwich? Really? That's the most you can even tolerate. Fortunately, in this exercise, somebody orders for you and they know you well and they order all the three things that you absolutely love and you can eat without thinking. And when they arrive, they are in fact delicious. You get the protein, you get the warmth, you get the flavors, and you look up at some point and in a very small child voice, you say, "Thank you for looking after me." And that is how we are right now. That impossible, overwhelmed, exhausted, confused, completely done. We just want somebody to carry us, to take us to where we need to go, to know the thing to order that we will be grateful for, that we can eat without thinking. And then as soon as the energy kicks in, we perk right up because we're not indefinitely broken. We're just overdone. We've taken on too much. And that is where we are right now. We have so many tools. We have so many things that are only going to take 30 seconds to watch. And we develop some kind of blister. We develop some kind of carpal tunnel syndrome effect on our thumb and our wrist from scrolling. I saw something the other day. They've got a device you can just poke and it scrolls your thing for you. Dear God, how? Okay. And then what do you do when you're too tired to poke it? Do you want one that's voice activated? Keep scrolling for me. I'm bored now. I mean, what? We are making ourselves ill. And, you know, I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. I say to myself, I just need to know 3 more things. I'll just give myself another 15 minutes. And I used to do that when I was a little kid. My dad would say, you can read for 5 more minutes and then I'm going to come and turn out the lights and take the book. And he would come 5 minutes later and I'm under the covers reading, ruining my eyesight. And he would knock on my head. Hello, is anyone home? No. No. The covers come back. Give me the book. I'm almost done. No, you're not. You just started another chapter, I can tell. I heard the pages turning. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. Give me the book. I, at a very early age, was a master at stalling. So in the dictionary under procrastination, it's my picture. I would have been holding up the sign that said stalling, except that I was busy doing something else. So I have stood where you are standing. I have scrolled where you are scrolling. I have found something else, anything else to do more than you, guaranteed. And it's not because I've been here longer. It's because I'm gooder at it. So that's the story. Sip. And now I'm going to tell you the tool I use. Okay? I prefer to use a weapon of mass construction and a piece of paper, not because I'm 100 years old, but because the physical act of it, whether you're printing or whatever you're doing, the physical act of putting it on a page and that page staring up at you while you do other things. And if, as you write it and look at it, you also say it out loud, you're anchoring it in a way in your new habit, new helpful habit brain that does not happen when you do it like this. It doesn't work as efficiently. It doesn't anchor itself in here. That has been proven by psychologists testing and looking at brain scans and whatnot. The act of transferring it, translating it from in here to on the page, no matter how you do it, is highly effective. So you pick this up. I don't care what you write on. Put it on a Post-it note. Put it on anything. Okay? What I want you to do is pick 3 things. I don't care what they are. Make the bed. fold the laundry, make the tough phone call. I don't care what they are, just 3. Because if you get stuck making a list, I've lost you again. So you're only allowed to make 3, right? Okay, so whatever those 3 are. And then what I want you to do, it's a score of 10, okay? Out of 10, 10 being the top, I want you to rank how important those 3 things are, how important they are, okay? Like essential, urgent. And then the next thing I want you to do is use the same 10 and write the number that tells you which one you crave, which one is a spontaneous dopamine immediate hit. Okay? You have 3 things. 1, 2, 3. Need to do, urgent to do, out of 10. And then crave. Urgent, crave. Now, you tell me, if I said to you, do the one you crave most, and then do the one that is urgent most. Give yourself the treat first, and then that motivates you to do the other one. You only have to pick the top one and the top one. I know there's 3. The one that is the most urgent and the one you most crave. Okay? Do the crave first. That gives you the dopamine. When you're done, give yourself a pat on the back and then do the urgent one. And I'll tell you why. Because when you do the urgent one next, because you're then going to go down to number 2, right? Number 2, crave, urgent. When you do the top urgent one immediately after the top crave, you have now given yourself the reward to have the next crave. And the next crave inspires you to do the next urgent. So I want you to try that for me, okay? You get a piece of something to write on. You get a weapon of mass construction. Freddie asks, when did you first stop calling pens weapons of mass construction? Freddie, that is a brilliant question. And you know where it comes from? I will tell you. It comes from the pen is mightier than the sword. And I have a cartoon image. I'll find it and post it sometime. I have a cartoon image of a Viking getting ready to launch a pen. The pen is mightier than the sword. Therefore, this is my weapon of mass construction. And thank you, by the way, Freddie. Thank you. So Freddie's brain, for those of you who have just met Freddie, everybody say hi, Freddie. Freddie's brain is extraordinary. Vastly, vastly intelligent, quick in responding to information questions, just the brightest guy on the planet. Also, because of that, has an appetite for a question that pops into his head, and he asks it so fast, and then thinks, oh, that's probably random. It's okay. It's so wonderful that there are people here who understand that sometimes you got to listen to people who are willing to listen to you, because then it's a really powerful give and take, right? It's not just me going, eh, 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 eh. I love to see your faces. I love to see what's happening. So I want to briefly tell you. So I've had Maggie rescuing me from my insecurity. I've had Matthew showing up after how long? How long, Matthew? Where have you been and how long? I'm not blaming. I'm just so great to see you. And Freddie, of course, my stalwart Freddie. Tell me what it is that you procrastinate about. What is the rabbit hole you fall down? What is the thing that just takes you sideways? It's interesting to know, because then we know where the hook is. We know where the trigger is, right? So back to the point of this morning. I noticed I've now got something coming up on Facebook that shows me insights, and it said that people were watching me for less than 5 minutes. And I thought, well, okay, don't mind me. I'll just go over here. And then I thought, Okay, then that's all they needed. They just needed the quick hello. They just needed the quick fix, and they had something else to do. At least you stopped by. And that's amazing. The other thing I noticed was that my audience is equally split, male and female, which is awesome. I also noticed that my audience, remarkably, I mean, this is really quite unusual. My audience is between 34 and 65. So we know why the older, because if you can't do it on television, that would be when I first came into view. But the 30s, those are people who are seeing the younger stuff. Those are the people, I am assuming, who are into nostalgia entertainment, and they are starting to run into me. They're starting to see pictures where I am attending some of these events, and so they're getting the idea that I am part of their interest niche. I am part of their world, which is amazing. Because you know what we're never too old for? We're never too old to discover that there's somebody who gets us. No matter why, no matter where, no matter how. Because a lot of the time it doesn't feel like it. So coming back to the prioritizing and coming back to the procrastinating, one of the things that causes us to seek out distractions is when we are feeling kind of, I don't want to say overwhelmed because it's the opposite of that. We are feeling empty. We are feeling as though the warm stuff, we can see it. We can see it coming and going, and it doesn't seem to be including us. And these experiences, these brief moments of I wish, like Wish Bear, I wish, happen around holidays that are largely celebrated and encouraging and supporting and pointing to and elevating a life we don't live. Increasingly, we are more isolated. Increasingly, we are marrying later, if at all. Increasingly, we are reluctant to trust people long enough to get into relationships that turn into let's all to get together with the family. Increasingly, we are more mobile, and therefore we're not 3 blocks from the family home. We don't have siblings as many as we used to, or cousins as many as we used to with the nuclear families. And so the large get-togethers that we see advertised and talked about and celebrated feel foreign, and we feel left out. And many people, not me because as a military kid in the first place, and then as mom on the kid show, just the most unfortunate creature, ridiculous and silly, it's difficult to embarrass me. It's difficult for something external to make me feel incapable of walking into a room. I know a lot of people will do anything rather than go into a restaurant alone or an event alone. They feel that people are looking at them, or they don't know what to do, or they just need the companionship of somebody. And I get that. I don't live it though. And so when I see the Thanksgiving celebrations, and I have been part of Thanksgiving, big family Thanksgiving celebrations, I have hosted them, oddly enough. And while I'm in it, while I'm doing it, it's great. Immediately before and immediately after, the small voice is saying, what were you thinking? And do we need to do this again? Because it is out of my normal. Only child, right? Only child. Picked up and dropped and picked up and dropped, and don't have these large groups that I get together with every year at this time for this or that or the other reason. So I don't miss it. If you've never had it, you don't miss it. But a lot of us have watched TV shows, have identified with families. There are a lot of people who identified with the Pivotry family, and you get it on television. Just let that sink in for a second. And if you're one of them, they're there. So, but they belong to something. And it's at this time of year. And then, before you know it, it's going to be Christmas parties, and it's going to be Christmas, and it's going to be New Year's, and then it's going to be Valentine's Day and Easter. And every time you turn around, it feels like all celebrations, all marketing, Halloween, we're all going to get together with the kids, and all celebrations are for these fictional groups that don't exist the way they used to. Our marketing and our traditions have not caught up with our current realities. And so, even more, ever more, we are resorting to this, our surrogate family, scrolling, watching, looking, these meeting apps and these dating apps. And how do you know that the faces and the profiles are even real? And how do you meet them? And if they're not real and you meet the actual person, what was the point of that? I helped a woman write maybe the funniest train wreck romance novel I have ever experienced. And she came up with an idea how to get her friends involved in helping her find the man of her dreams. Dear God in heaven. If every single one of you went on Amazon and bought that book and read that book, you would say, you know what? I'm actually in pretty good shape here. Dear God, what the hell? And when she first told me about the premise, I said, what? So is it based on a true story? And she said, yes. I said, okay, so tell me the premise. And she told me the premise. And I laughed. I almost choked to death. I laughed so hard. And then I kept saying, I'm sorry. And she said, it's quite all right. It's quite all right. I've had a couple of people tell me that it was crazy. And I said, you mean you did it? And she said, yes, I did it. Oh my God, how did it go? And she said, well, badly. That's why I want to do the book. So if we, in the best of intentions, say, well, this won't hurt, and then it does. And then we say, well, maybe we did it wrong. And we do it again, and it still hurts. And then we say, yeah, except that, I'm really hoping it works. And we do it again, and it still hurts. At some point, you reach out to me, right? At some point, and you say, help me, I'm out of control. And the reason I can help you is because I was you. I did that. I have more stories than I can ever fill enough books to publish. So this is the deal. 10:32. I promise it's not going to go long. Hang on a second. The word should, first of all, is a future word. Should have is a past. Could is a future word. Would is a future word. If we all had a nickel for every time we have said, I should, I could, I would, we would all be retired. We would all be retired. Those aren't statements of purpose. Those are us shaming, blaming, and guilting ourselves because we're not doing whatever it is. None of it is helpful because it puts us in a very negative place. And then what we want is a cookie to feel better. Also a negative place. What that is a stalling tactic. Why we are stalling is because we are exhausted and we just need another 5 minutes. The reason we are exhausted is because we are multitasking. We don't think it matters. We think we're good at it. I want to do the math with you so that you understand clearly, okay? On that same piece of paper, humor me, on that same piece of paper using that same weapon of mass construction, or okay, use the notes function on this, right? Use the notes function. I want you to write down the number 100, okay? 100, and then draw a line under it. So this is under the first part that you've written, where the three things and the what's the most important and what is the most urgent and what is the most crave. Okay, 100. Now we're going to do very simple math. If you cut 100, this is a mythical 100, it's not actual. If you cut 100 in half, you get 50 and 50, correct? Correct. If you then cut each of those 50s in half, slice, slice, you now have 25, 25, 25, 25, correct? You have 4 separate small pieces of 100, correct? Correct. Let's say you have 4 things that you must do within the next hour. 4 things, equally urgent or equally crave. So that means you have to put them in some kind of sequence, right? You have an hour, there are 4 things. I don't care whether they're urgent or crave, there's 4 things you must do. I know we did 3 before, this is 4, okay? You are going to try to do at least 2 of them simultaneously, because today we all feel we can do that. No, keep talking. I can listen to you while I'm scrolling on my phone, looking up a phone number. No, you can't, because you're not retaining what I'm saying. It's going in and out because your focus is, what was his name? Bob, Brian, Barry, Bill, while you're looking for a phone number. I'm there in the background and you can hear me. And maybe you have really good recall. And if I say, what did I just said? You can say chocolate elephant. Ha, got you. But you're not retaining the reason I'm talking to you. It's not possible. Your brain can't do that. While it's trying to do this, it cannot do that because they're identical functions. You cannot do them simultaneously. Physically impossible. It's been proven by science, by the wiring, looking at the brain. One gets dropped. Okay, you have these 4 things and an hour. You will try to do 2 of them. This is what the outcome will be. The math does not lie. If there's 4, no matter how you do them, if there's 4, you are cutting your attention into 4 smaller units. 25% of your attention, 25% of your attention, 25% of your attention, 25% of your attention. You try to do them together, you don't get 50% and you don't get 100%. You get 25 and you get 25. If somebody showed up and said, I'm willing to give you 25%, I'm willing to work, I'm all in at 25%, you would say, next, please. Because you don't want to hire somebody who gives 25%. You want somebody who's willing to give 100% and maybe actually delivers 90%. This 25% garbage is garbage. What happens is this. I am a survivor, Freddie. Thank you. What happens is this. We try. It doesn't matter how many times somebody explains it to us. We nod. We're not listening because we're trying to figure out how we can prove them wrong. What we've forgotten is that that wasn't the point. The point is doing it well. The point is feeling pride in accomplishment. The point is saying, hand me that ball. Yes. And I can tell you mentally, emotionally, energetically, physically, when we struggle to try and do 4 things, and the best we can deliver is 25% across the board. in that hour. A, we are disgusted. We are now stalling our way through the next hour by blaming and shaming and guilting ourselves that we could have done it differently. We could have, would have, should have done it differently. Why didn't we? Because we forgot the point of the exercise. The point of the exercise isn't stroking the ego. That's not the point. The point is getting it right, is doing it well, is enhancing quality of life, is saying, yes, I am walking here. You better believe it. So at the end of that hour, we can say, that was mine. That is mine. I own that. It is of me, and no one can take it away. That is the point of the exercise. Not how many pings, not how many likes, not how many, oh, that's my favorite song, I remember when I. That's not the point. The point is this, right here, right now, thee and me. This is our Milo moment. And it's magic. There'll be another one. If you're willing, if you're ready, if you're excited, there'll be another one. There just won't be this one. And okay, you missed this one. Okay, you missed this one. Get ready for the next one. Pick up your weapon of mass construction. We own the pen. We can rewrite the story people told us about who we are and what we deserve and what we can or cannot be. Picking up the pen is our Milo moment. It is our experience of Pivotry. I had something happen. Good morning, Warren. Oh, it's so good to see you. How are you? How's Julie? How's everything? You must let me know. I want to tell you something that happened to me this year. Had I been paying attention, I probably knew to some extent that it was something to pay attention to. I chose not to because I had decided that something I believed in would always be the way it was. And as it turned out, change is always happening. Change changes us. Something had changed that I hadn't noticed. And what happened to me suddenly, because I hadn't been paying attention, was a sequence of events that cost me money, cost me focus, cost me confusion, cost me disappointment, cost me embarrassment, and cost me exhaustion. simply because I had not been paying attention. I had been procrastinating. I had put off the thing that I knew I needed to do. I had said to myself, it'll be okay. It'll be fine. And then it wasn't. It wasn't remotely fine. And then I felt so terrible because I had allowed it to go that far, because I had procrastinated, because I had other things on my mind, because I didn't want to do that thing that was a very significant priority. And the fallout, my goodness, my gracious, the ripple effect, the exhaustion, the efforts, the confusion, the conversations, the time that was poured into repairing the boundary wall, communicating to all the people, understanding where things went wrong, how I lost sight of the ball. That happened over a period of months that I could have nipped in the bud in a moment and didn't. The ripple effect, the echo effect, so wasteful. And I am not shaming and blaming and guilting and regretting. I'm looking at myself and I'm thinking, now it's time to talk to people about prioritizing and losing our focus. Don't you think there, Ms. Abby? Because I'm the poster child for these things. So do I understand how you feel when these things happen? Yes, I do. Do I understand how it is so much easier to go for the quick dopamine hit? I'll just sit and scroll for a bit. Yes, I do. If I have one more conversation with someone who says I don't sleep well, and then I realize that they sit up all night scrolling on their phone, or they're engaged in something high stress, high adrenaline right before they turn out the light and think they're going to go to sleep. And you think, wow, all right then. We have a problem with cause and effect, I see. So this is my wish for you today. This is my conversation today. And it goes like this. Do you have a dream? Do you have a little voice inside your head that recently said, I'd like this, please? Do you have the capacity to add it to your list? Are you excited about the possibility? Yes? Then I can show you how to make room for it. I can show you how to get out of your own way and give you the power to say, it worked. Final note before I say goodbye today. The reason we have dessert at the end of the meal is to make sure we bring in the fuel that fuels us first. And then we savor the reward. Remember that. We need the fuel that fuels us. We need to pick our 1, 2, 3. Urgent, crave. And give ourselves permission. The slogan for Pivotry is, free yourself to be. Are you with me? Good. The weekend is upon us. We have a very exciting road trip today. We're going to go and see somebody. We're going to go and see a man about a dog. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait. It's been too long. So as I go, good morning back to Julie. Before I go, Be good to you in the moment. Don't delay. Be good to you in the moment. You deserve it. And by good, I don't mean treats. I mean taking care of you the best way possible, because you deserve it. And remember to hug your loved ones. And thank you, as always, for being part of this journey with me. This is episode 402, and it wouldn't be the same without you.